Fort Kent was founded as a military outpost during the Aroostook War, a bloodless boundary dispute between the United States and British Canada over the location of the Maine-New Brunswick border. Named after Connecticut Governor Edward Kent, who supported Maine's territorial claims, the fort was constructed by American forces along the St. John River to assert control over the disputed Aroostook Valley. Though no fighting occurred, the fort's presence symbolized American resolve and contributed to the peaceful resolution of the conflict, border resolution and the Webster-Ashburton Treaty, 1842. The construction of Fort Kent played a pivotal role in the Webster-Ashburton Treaty, which definitively settled the northeastern boundary dispute. The treaty established the international border along the St. John River, placing Fort Kent firmly within United States territory. Following the treaty, the military garrison was withdrawn in 1843, but the fort's blockhouse, now the centerpiece of Fort Kent Blockhouse State Historic Site, remained standing as a lasting reminder of the region's strategic importance during this period. Development as a lumbering and river town, 1840s, 1900. After the border dispute ended, Fort Kent evolved into a thriving lumbering and transportation hub. Its location at the confluence of the St. John and Fish Rivers made it a critical depot for logging operations, supplying timber to sawmills that floated lumber down the St. John River to markets in New Brunswick and beyond. The town's economy depended heavily on the seasonal transport of logs, and steamboats and bateaux facilitated trade and communication along the river, establishing Fort Kent as the primary settlement in the remote St. John Valley. Growth of Franco-American culture and population, late 19th, early 20th century. Fort Kent's population grew significantly with waves of French-Canadian immigrants from Quebec, drawn by abundant work in the lumber industry. These settlers, primarily Acadians and other Francophones, formed a cohesive cultural community that preserved the French language and traditions. By the late 19th century, Fort Kent had become predominantly French-speaking, with institutions such as bilingual schools, Catholic churches, and cultural organizations reinforcing a distinct Franco-American identity that remains a defining characteristic of the town today. Transition to modern times and preservation of heritage, 20th century, present. As the lumber industry declined in the early 20th century, Fort Kent adapted to new economic realities, including agriculture, small-scale manufacturing, and, more recently, tourism. The town has maintained its cultural distinctiveness through efforts to preserve its Franco-American heritage, including the continued use of French in daily life and the operation of the bilingual University of Maine at Fort Kent. The Fort Kent Blockhouse, designated a National Historic Landmark, and annual events such as the Can-Am Crown International Sled Dog Races underscore the town's historical and cultural significance, blending its frontier past with its present identity as a center of Acadian life and winter recreation.